Thank you, Coach. Welcome back.
Thanks, Racco.
I'll let you start. Let's open
I don't really have any opening remarks. There may be a question or two about how this whole thing happened, but let's just go to questions, and if anybody wants to know, I'll tell them.
All right. Kelly, Captain.
Hey, Rick, I would like to know, can you take me through these last, 24 hours for you? How did the process work to get cleared to travel and to coach tonight? And what did you think of Mosley last night and how the guys did?
Yeah, the guys did great last night. Mose did a tremendous job. And it was, a wonderful opportunity for him to be under the limelight of Broadway. So people can see the kind of coach that this guy is, and they can visualize him as a head coach of an NBA team. So when I talked to him in the afternoon after this thing kind of got started, I think I mentioned it. I think he may have mentioned it too. I just said, hey, look, just adjust. You're probably going to want to adjust your afternoon sort of routine here, but it's in all likelihood going to be your deal tonight. And we spent a lot of time as a group with game planning and things like that. So it was pretty seamless. Love the way we played, love the way we defended, particularly in the fourth quarter. And then, in terms of everything else, I got a call from Casey Smith somewhere around 3:30 in the afternoon, saying that there was a positive test. And I said, well, how's that really possible, with, being vaccinated since, 2 shots in January. He said, well, there's always a chance it's a false positive. And so he said, look, we're going to retest you here. Kat's going to come up. Kat's one of our testers who travels with us. She came up with Dion. They did 2 tests. I got 2 samples, went back to get them sent out. Then they came up a half hour later, got a 3rd sample. So there were 3 tests on the retest. And so what happened was the first 2 tests came back negative, but the 3rd one was considered the most decisive one. And that the results of that didn't come back until, midnight or 1 a.m. or something like that via email to Casey. So, but by virtue of the fact that, I am vaccinated and the 2 initial tests were negative, I was cleared to travel with the team, but not cleared to go to the Garden. So, everything was fine. It was, obviously, knowing what those guys went through back in Denver, I wasn't interested in staying in a hotel room and quarantining for 7 days. In my heart and my mind, I was pretty sure that this was a false positive, and I'm grateful that it turned out that way.
Thanks. Glad you're healthy.
Mark, follow-up.
Good afternoon, Rick. You mentioned a moment ago that things went pretty seamless last night. Understanding that part of coaching, of course, is putting people in a position to succeed. And that doesn't just mean players. That obviously means your staff. Seeing that it went seamlessly and hearing what Mose had to say after the game about the confidence you had in him, from your perspective, how gratifying or rewarding is it to see that system is in place where something can happen like that and it is seamless and people can succeed?
Yeah, that's the way it's got to be. And I've got to be 100% supportive of our entire staff. If you remember earlier in the year, when the Denver thing happened, Jamal had missed the Denver game because he was doing a knee rehab thing, and it was just a situation where it was best for him not to travel for 1 game. Well, all of us came back from that thing, and then he was unable to join us for 2 or 3 games, and so we had to function without him. And so, we were able to, win the Denver game at Denver. We came home. We won the Orlando game. And in that instance, God Sham guy went from behind the bench and sat in front of the bench and replaced Mose that night. Mike Weiner covers the offense, and Zach Guthrie helps Jamal with the defense. So Zach took over the defense, Mike had the offense, and and Sham was up there helping us out with a lot of big picture stuff, which he's does phenomenally well. So, these things do happen. You've probably noticed in certain instances that Deion Calhoun is sitting on the front of the bench as our head trainer, and Casey Smith is behind. Sometimes there are medical situations where Casey stays back, isn't with the team. Deion is technically the head trainer, and so he has seamlessly filled in those situations. But above all, I just am really pleased that Jamal got this opportunity. There's a real concern about opportunity for young coaches, young African-American coaches, to become first-time head coaches. And this gives everyone the opportunity to see firsthand a guy performing at a very, very high level. So, and not surprising to me one bit.
Wayne Price.
Yes, Rick, me having been living in the state of Texas my entire life, Texas is known as a football state. In that case, how do you explain Baylor and Houston making up one half of the Final Four?
Okay. Well, they've got great coaches, and both those teams really guard people. And if you look at our resurgence, over the last month and a half, 2 months, our defense has gotten quite a bit better. If you look at those teams are great defensive teams as well. I don't know why there needs to be a notion of a major football bias in the state of Texas. I don't see any reason there can't be room for great basketball as well as great football. Having said that, I love the Cowboys, and I follow some of the Texas teams in both sports.
All right, we'll do one more question from Japan. Tabata.
Hello, Coach. How, Coach? Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, thank you. So I'd like to ask about Rui Hachimura of Washington Wizards. I think he's out for tonight's game, but I just would like to know what kind of things is your scouting report saying about him?
Well, the scouting report is saying that he's a tremendous young player that's gotten better and better. In the last 5 games, he's averaging 20 points. Westbrook's averaging 21. I think Bradley Beal's averaging 22. So he's worked himself into kind of the big three of this team. He does it on the inside. He does it from the mid-range. He does it in the post. And he does make threes. I've been very impressed with his development. He's gotten stronger. The game has slowed down for him. He's making better and better reads. And I just see him continuing to grow more and more. And I did not hear that he's out tonight, but if he is, that's good news to me.